Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action, and today we're here with another 2v2, myself and Black Iron once again, going to be taking on some elves. Today we're here with the Team Undead, so we've got Count Noctilus unlawfully teamed up with High Queen Kalita here with the Tomb Kings and the Vampire Coast against High Elves and Dark Elves. For my coast army here, I've got a couple of Carronades, we've got the Lamprey's Revenge protecting the back, a whole line of zombies mixed with halberds and dual weapons. We've also got a whole line of handguns as well, including the Black Spot, and two gunnery wights. The idea here is for these guys to feed some ammo to these units of Bow Shabti who are currently moving forward, supported by Kalita there. We've got the two regular ones and a Regiment of Renown. Plus plenty of skeleton infantry as well, mixed skeleton warriors and spearmen with some tomb guard as well, a tomb prince as well. Looks like some carrion. For the elves, we got, let's see here, Cold One Knights, some more Cold One Knights, two War Hydras actually, and Marathi up in the air with a couple Witch Elves and some Dread Spears to support. We've got lots of Daka for the High Elves as well, lots of Sisters of Averlord and the Regiment of Renown Lothern Sea Guard. Got some Spearmen in the front line, Phoenix Guard protecting the flank. So yeah, so far, the Elves just kind of sitting, having deployed up on this hill. We don't have the greatest line of sight on them, but the cannons and the Bow Shabti for now are focus firing on those Cold One Knights. Can't hardly see them in the distance there, but they're out there. And they're going to be taking cannon shots and shots from those Ushabti great bows. So definitely rough stuff for these Cold One Knights here. And you can see Gunny is kind of sitting up on this hill. Ooh, nice shot, Gunny. Takes down one there, and he's going to scuttle away on his crab. This is more or less just a distraction to draw these guys in and have them take a little bit more fire here. In fact, they've taken so much fire that they've routed at this point, so pretty advantageous for us, taking out a 1,000-point unit for only a little bit of ammunition here, and there's plenty more ammo to go around with both of these gunnery wights able to provide more ammo. You can see the rest of the elves, their infantry and other forces making their way over to this side of this approach. This map here in particular is dominated by this large central rock here with this kind of obelisk next to it. Impassable terrain, obviously, with woods all around. And yeah, you kind of have to attack one side or the other. The elves opting to swing over up to this side, which is just fine with us. Gunny gets a little bit crazy here, a little bit too far forward, and gonna get just sheets of fire rained on him from those Sisters of Averlord. Gonna do a ton of damage, but we should be able to recover him before he goes fully down there. Hopefully. He is taking quite a bit of heat, but the woods will help block some of those shots. And then we're starting to return fire as well. The cannons and the Bow Shabti all starting to shoot in this backline area. Nice cannon shot there on these Sisters of Averlord. They're going to start to shoot the carrion, which is just fine with us. You know, they're relatively limited ammunition shooting at a relatively cheap unit, so that's totally fine with us. But yeah, skeleton infantry going to start to make their way forward and clash with the elves here. Tomb Guard moving in on these spearmen, and soon the rest of the skeleton infantry will be following up. You can see they're kind of forsaking this flank. I'm going to move my zombies up and around to cover a little bit, but looks like some of the High Elf spearmen, or sorry, Dread Spears, actually making their way over. Skeleton Spears and Tomb Guards will be interrupting there. Meanwhile, on the back, you can see these archers are taking quite a bit of damage. It's not actually as much as I would have hoped for, but we are able to get some good damage in, and the guns you can see kind of opening up in between the Ushabti, the units that try and get through and get on the Ushabti. Granted, we probably will be doing a little bit of friendly fire here, but it's nothing we can't heal away with old Noctilus, who's chilling in the woods here still. Not really needed in the battle up to this point, but yeah, so far, gunnery wights just pulling back, sniping out any targets that they can. Continuing to feed ammo, and in the back line you can see the heat still raining down. A nice cannon shot there, taking down some of those Phoenix Guard. Great value, but a very nice bit of shades. In the front line by our opponents, got this huge blob of skeleton infantry here, just doing a ton of damage. Black Iron's going to try and pull away from that a little bit there, but definitely some damage being done. Very good stuff. You can see the Tomb Prince making his way into the back line. He's going to have to be careful. The Sisters of Averlord all do fire damage, and he is weak to fire, as is Kalita. Likewise, I believe for the High Elves, it's Elithanar leading the way once again. Yep, Elithanar, and a Handmaiden also with a Light Wizard, so actually a High Wizard, in fact, and the High Mage getting lit up pretty badly here by some fire, probably from the handguns there. So yeah, that's not the best. But Arcane and Forging on High Queen Kalita, so she is taking quite a bit of damage. Our opponent's investing heavily to take her down. But Noctilus, of course, let's see, he is making his way forward at this point, starting to drop a nice Invocation of Nehek on his front line, catching those Ushabti, all these Tomb King's infantry as well, like the Kepler Guard and so on, getting some really nice healing from Noctilus there. And yeah, we're also going to be dropping some bombardment. I'm not sure. Somebody's bombardment's coming down here. It looks like a Soul Stealer as well to try and heal up Arathi, drain away the summoned zombies and the Tomb Prince that are also in this back line. Meanwhile, the fire continuing to rain down on both sides. You can see the Sisters of Averlorn trying to shoot at those Ushabti, while the guns focus fire on the Hydra in the center here. And it looks like we're going to be getting another Pit of Shades potentially. Yes, another Pit of Shades there, catching quite a bit of those skeleton infantry once again. But the zombies still have a huge reserve of zombie infantry here that hasn't even committed at all. So, you know, all these losses to these Tomb King's infantry, which are actually doing quite well in this infantry battle. You know, the Tomb Guard especially will be able to clean up quite a few elf units here. And not to mention all these Tomb King's infantry do have silver shields, so the... Oh man, was that a Hydra Breath? Looks like it was a Hydra Breath cutting through the side there, doing some good damage, but the Hydras so far have really been vulnerable to the overwhelming fire. They're just not super great against heavy missile factions, and I mean, obviously with the build we brought here, nice moon bow coming in from Lithnar there. You can see Khalid is just about down, but still alive at this point, and the bounce power is starting to tip pretty favorably in our favor as those Hydras get routed off. Noctilus getting involved with some summoned zombies here against the Dread Spears. Come on, Noctilus. Yeah, he's just doing the evil cackle at this point. Meanwhile, over on the far side of the woods, the main battle is still underway. You can see the Hydra here going to start to be focus fired once again by the guns. A little bit of terrain obstruction here does mean that the cannons are going to have a hard time firing. Lamprey's Revenge still just sitting in the back, completely forgotten about at this point. Very powerful and expensive unit, but who says we need him, right? The Gunny and the Gunnery White, the Gunnery Whites and the handguns, that's it. All focus firing here. Even the Ushabti Greatbows looking like they're putting in some shots. Maybe? Nope. They're actually firing at that High Mage still. Maybe? Or at the Everqueen's Court Guards. That's it. Anyway, anything that you shoot at pretty much here is expensive elf things, so it's all going to be good value, right? At the end of the day. You can see the Sisters of Averlorn returning some fire here on the Black Spot. Not going to be the most effective shooting through the woods like this. Black Spot are also only, in quotations, 800 points. You know, still a pretty good unit for the price, but those Sisters of Averlorn just trying to use their ammo up on something, but they are starting to run relatively low, and they haven't got a lot of kills on super impactful units. You can see Kalita does go down there to Elithanar's consistent focus fire, but at this point the balance power is so heavily in our favor. Plus, Noctilus is really the more important general, I would say. I mean, Kalita's okay, but Noctilus, of course, has OP Lore of Vampire spells like Invocation of Nehek that can heal all these Tomb Kings. You can see Gunny fighting in the front line here alongside his Tomb King brethren against these Cold One Knights here. Very cool stuff. And it looks like some more summoned units coming up here. Yeah, maybe. I thought maybe we were going to get some summoned Ushabti there, but I didn't see them actually pop up. Interesting. See, the Hydras coming back from out, having regenerated a little bit, are going to be focused once again by the guns. They're still just firing away. I have plenty of ammo, honestly, on all these zombie handguns here. And you can see some of these Ushabti are starting to run low, but the Chosen of the Gods, I know I've given at least 1 to 2 charges already. This Carronade, had some line of sight issues, unfortunately, so it looks like they decided to make their way over here. The other Carronade, though, still on that hill over on the far side, does have a pretty good line of sight down this kind of alleyway to shoot at these units up on the hill. Looks like one more Pit of Shades from Marathi going to catch some of these zombie handguns here, but this is not the best idea for her. She's going to fly right through the line of fire here and take a ton of damage from all those guns. And yeah, she's going to have to be very, very careful not to get focus fired here. You can see the Lamprey's Revenge finally coming in the late game, and the zombie infantry also moving in, of course. to kind of clean things up at the last. Over here on the far side, these Dread Spears, which have held out quite well, all things considered, just getting drowned in zombies. You can see the zombies also just moving their way through the back line as well. We've got the halberds and everyone moving in now, so yeah, it's going to be too many bodies for the High Elves to deal with at this point. The High Elves and the Dark Elves, of course. What few Dark Elves remain here. Ooh, Elithnar gets a good hit on Count Noctilus, though, with that moon bow there. It looks like him and the Handmaiden are focusing on Noctilus, so potentially if they could do some good damage to him, maybe they could come back here, but the balance of power is just so far off. You can see this High Mage bravely making her way forward here. Looks like she's going to drop an Arcane Unforging. Nope, doesn't get it off. That's what you get. Noctilus taking no prisoners here. Still getting shot in the face, but he does finish off that High Mage there. And I'm not sure what happened to Marathi. Yep, looks like she took a face full of bullets and is now routing. Oh, she actually cast Power of Darkness on herself. That's probably going to finish her off. Let's see. We'll watch Marathi kind of fly away and see if she kicks the can here. Yep, there she goes. Died to her own Power of Darkness. Foolish Marathi. Anyway, fun stuff. Just going to be tying things up at the end of the battle here now, and I accidentally did use the bombardment on Elithnar's clone there, so I guess that was effective in that way, but Elithnar's clone being unbreakable is the only thing holding at this point. Everything else hitting critical army losses, so it is going to be victory for Team Undead, myself and Black Iron Battles, triumphing over the Elves once again. So very fun stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. Definitely a strong combo, of course, in 2v2s, having Tomb Kings pair with either undead, either of the Vampire Undead factions, Vampire Counts or Vampire Coast. Either one synergizes with the Tomb Kings very, very well. I would say the Vampire Coast, you can maybe even get a little bit more synergy because of the Gunnery Wights. Build like this, where you can feed ammo to these Ushabti Great Bows, just keep them online and firing into the late game. You can see 81 kills on the Chosen of the Gods, and keep in mind they were firing at like Cold One Nights for a lot of that time, so quite a few of those are going to be high value kills as well. And of course that allows me to then keep my units safe in the back. You can see 169 kills up to these guys both started out with 2 XP chevrons. This one managed to get several more throughout the course of the battle, but yeah, 169 kills on that Carronade also helped take out a lot of high value targets. And considering our opponents had a relatively low model count army, you can see just about what, 1100 1200 unit models in total. Very, very good stuff there. So yeah, for our opponents, Marathi racking up 109 kills with a couple very good hits of Pits of Shades? Not sure. The War Hydra is also getting some pretty good kills in the front line, but most of those are just chaff. Not zombies, but skeletons at the end of the day. The zombies didn't actually take that many hits because they were, you know, kind of the reserve force there, just moving in the late game. They didn't get a whole lot of kills either, but Gunnies, one of them ended up getting dragged down there, but they did okay, helping to shoot at high-value targets like Marathi, you know, the War Hydra. They're mostly here to just hand out ammo to the Ushabti Great Bows, and if needed, you know, the Crabs do allow them to kind of tank it up in melee in the front line as well. So nice dual role there for the Gunnery Wights, and of course synergizing very well with Noctilus and the rest of the Tomb Kings here. For our opponents, again, let's see. High Elves. The Sisters of Avalorn, actually, some of them did okay, but they are a relatively expensive unit, and they're pretty limited in their ammunition as well, so bringing this many, I think, is a little bit rough, especially against the 2 factions, which you can figure are going to bring a lot of unit models. You might want to just go with, like, some cavalry, maybe some chariots, or just more, you know, like White Lions and decent infantry, and just try an infantry swarm. Definitely both of these factions can be vulnerable to that. The builds that we brought in particular wouldn't have done great against a really concerted infantry swarm from both factions, but unfortunately they went in a little bit of a different route and ended up kind of getting dragged down there. But still, very fun battle. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.